Hi everybody, Mike from the Rural Montana family. This here is part 2 of our travels over the Continental Divide to Helena and back. In this part we don't have nearly as much of the Montana scenery to show since it was pretty cloudy and not nearly as nice as on the way there. But we still have lots of good stats from the OBD reader as well as from charging sessions that we had. You'll also get to see the difficulties of traveling with an electric car with only access to level 2 charging in Helena, as well as basically no charging on the way back. And you'll see how you can stretch the range out of this car. It's pretty amazing. And stick around to the end to make sure you get to hear what we learned from this trip about traveling with the Chevy Bolt. And hey, don't forget, give us a thumbs up right away here in the beginning. Let's go. All right, we're about to leave Wolf Creek. We're at 164.5 miles, 54.8 kilowatts used. So all this basically looks the same. The big changes here, we now got 121 miles. We were able to charge on the dryer outlet that had a 30 amp breaker, and we charged at 32 amps for about 5.5 to 6 hours. The breaker got nice and toasty, but it never tripped, so that was really good. We got an actual battery state of charge here at 64.3. We preheated the car while we were plugged in, so heat is down to about 1400 watts right now. Battery temperature 42.8, and the battery coolant is at 46.4. The battery heater hasn't been on in 36,702 seconds, so for a long time. Battery coolant pumps running as always. So now we're driving down to Helena, which is about 30 miles or so, and then we'll look at all that again. All right, we made it to Helena. Oh, now the light goes off, so there's plenty of light right in front of us. They're kind of blinding me. We're here at a little restaurant called Suds. It's a chicken place in Helena, and they have 2 Tesla destination chargers as well as a J1772 Clipper Creek here. We got 87 miles left here. We've been average 3.0 miles per kilowatt hour. We now got 194.8 miles, used a total of 66 kilowatt hours, and no battery conditioning, never ever. So I'm not sure if the 2017 through 2019 Bolt does more battery conditioning than the 2020. If you have one of those, please let me know down in the comments if you see more battery conditioning in your car. I don't think I ever really had any battery conditioning showing here on the screen, not during normal driving anyway. So that would be interesting to know. We're showing a state of charge of 46.7 right now. Battery is 41 degrees, battery coolant is 42.8. And yes, the battery heater hasn't been active in like forever. I don't know why this shows in seconds, but it's 40,322 seconds. You can calculate yourself how many minutes or hours or whatever that is. I'm not going to right now. Cabin heat right now runs at 1400 watts. That's about where it's been on the drive from Wolf Creek to here. And now we're going out here and see if this charger works. Well, it's not. Whoa, we got lights anyway. Here's the Clipper Creek. One more, I think that should do. plugged in. I heard the click over here, and there we go. There's the green blink, and here we go. That's green. Oops, almost fell over the cord. Let's go in here real quick. It didn't like that I left the ignition on and walked away with the key, so it honked at me. Let's see here. So it shows we're level 2 charging, 244 volts. We're bringing in 7.7 kilowatts, 7,734 watts right now. 31, 32 amps basically. So we're doing pretty good here. Well, we're gonna go have dinner in here. They got really great chicken, and we'll probably get an hour or so here, and then we'll go to the hotel. They unfortunately don't have a charger there. They only got regular 15 amp outlets outside, so we may just plug in there for the night and see how much we can get by the morning. So I will be back after dinner. We're back from dinner. We had a great chicken sandwich here with Chochos, which is like super extra thick, heavy fries. Really great food. They got great food here. We can only recommend this place, and obviously you can charge your electric car here for free. 2 Tesla destination chargers, as well as one J1772 Clipper Creek here, and that's the one we are plugged into. And we gained a little bit, not too much. We're up to 59.6 now. Battery temperature is still 41, or is still, it changed, it's 41 now. Battery coolant is 30. Battery heater hasn't been active. The number keeps going up. We're now at 44,000 something. Battery coolant pump seems to be running all the time here. We just got back in the car, so it's cold, and it's drawn 7,500 watts, which actually will decrease our charging. Well, we got 7,700, almost 7,800 watts there. We're using 7,500 of that just for heating, so we're not really charging anymore at this point. But we were able to gain some. And so now we got to go to the hotel, and at the hotel we only got a regular 120 volt outlet, and we'll do super slow charging till the morning, and then we'll see where we're at, and we'll go from there to see how the day goes tomorrow and where we need to charge to make our way back home to the other side of the Continental Divide in western Montana. We are here at our place where we are going to eat dinner, and this is a restaurant, bar and casino. It is family friendly, and they have the best chicken in town. This place is called Suds Hut, and you'll find it on Montana Street. It's relatively small, so you gotta watch out that you don't miss it, but it's a super nice place. At night you can easily see it with the red lights, and it is a great place to eat dinner. Suds Hut, famous chicken. So that's where you want to go if you're in Helena. And then behind the building there's more parking, and that's where the chargers are. Back here you will find 2 Tesla destination chargers, as well as a Clipper Creek J1772, and that's where we are plugged in currently. There is a Tesla here. It's not plugged in. This probably belongs to the owner or the owner's son of Suds Hut. They're both Tesla drivers. And here, this is us plugged into the Clipper Creek. So there's a large parking lot back here, and you come in either on this side of the building or over on that side of the building. Great place to go have food for lunch or dinner. They're open from like 10 in the morning till midnight. We can only recommend this place. Good morning, everybody. It is just after 6 a.m. on Friday morning. We spent the night here in the hotel, and I was able to plug in out there, right there on this light pole. So this hotel doesn't provide any chargers, but they got these outlets on the light poles. And the funny thing is, they're not there because of electric cars. They're there so you can plug in your gas or diesel to preheat in the wintertime, because it's getting plenty cold here in Helena. And if you cannot plug in overnight, you could not start that thing in the morning. So just last week it was minus 30 degrees here. And if you don't have your gas or diesel plugged in, it probably won't start in the morning. So that's why they have those outlets. But it comes in handy for us. We can at least get a little charge from there. Let's look here. It reports 28.4 on the battery temperature. Battery coolant 24.8, just the opposite. Battery state of charge 69.4. Okay. Battery heater been inactive since forever. I'll leave that up to you to calculate how long that is, but seems like it's forever. So for some reason the battery pump speed is already up at 50. I don't hear anything, so I'm not sure if this is really correct or what the heck's going on. Let's see here. We can switch over. So we're plugged in to level 1.0. We got 112 volts out there. We're bringing in 893 watts at 8 amps. Okay. I did leave it at 8 amps. I didn't switch it up to 12. The guy here said when you get to an outlet, one of those, you got to make sure that where you plug into that it works. Sometimes only the upper or the lower will work. And I was kind of like, what's going on here? And I tested one way over there at the other end where that light pole is, and that didn't have any power at all. So I thought maybe safer to just leave it at 8 amps and not go up to 12, even though it would have been much nicer running it on 12 amps and get a little more charge. So this morning now we show 127 miles, so we got a little bit of charge, obviously. Got in here with 196, that's the light in there, 196.3. We used the 66.6 kilowatt hours. We've been doing pretty good here. As you can see, only about 10% went to heat, which is good. No battery conditioning. So far so good. This morning the battery heater didn't come on when I approached the car, but now we can see here the battery heater shows it's drawing 927 watts. Oh, there it jumps up to 2000. So it is on right now. Okay, now that the ignition is on, cabin heat is on as well at 7500 watts. So we're using almost a kilowatt right now. Oh, sorry, almost 10 kilowatts, almost 10,000 watts right now. So which means we're drawing the battery down, and I can feel the seat heat came on. This is a very nice feature of the Chevy Bolt with the automatic seat heater. That's definitely comfy, as well as with the automatic steering wheel heat. This is really cool. I like that part. But anyway, so the battery was in the 40s yesterday when I parked it here, so it obviously dropped about 15 degrees or so, probably. I don't remember exactly where it was at, but it's not too bad. And but the battery heater wasn't on after we parked it. It wasn't on all night, but you can see now here it did reset to 0 seconds because it's running right now. So we're at 2000 watts, so the battery heater is actually going at this point. I don't have to leave yet. What I was going to do, I was hoping to go in here and switch this over, and obviously there's the warning. Switch this to 12 amps. Okay, so we're probably not gonna leave for another hour and a half or so, 2 hours maybe. We'll have breakfast and everything, and so I'm seeing if I can run that on 12 amps here, hopefully without an issue. For that time, let's go see if this did switch. Let's give it a little time to catch up here. It still shows 8 amps. Nothing has changed yet. I can hear the battery heater. There's always this it's kind of like a boiling or crackling noise. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but look, it starts snowing right now. They forecasted snow for yesterday afternoon, but it didn't make it yet. But now it's here, so we're probably gonna have some heavy snowfall today, which will make for an interesting trip home. The route we're going has no chargers. If we have heavy snowfall, we'll have lights on, we have windshield wipers going. If there's no sunshine, the heater will run more. So yeah, we'll make for an interesting drive, and we'll see. So here, this still has not changed. That is kind of odd. We are definitely on 12 there. I mean, it should be, it says portable cord limit 12. I would think this should go. Shows 12, but it only reads 8 here. Not sure what's going on here. Interesting, interesting. There's always these little things, they make you believe stuff and then it's not really there. Not sure what the heck. I mean, I'm not too concerned about it. Oh, we had a loss of the OBD, that's why. For some reason, something... Oh, there we go. Okay. For some reason, we lost the signal of the OBD, even though it's just right down here under the dash, as you know. But there we go. It is charging at 12 amps at 1281 watts right now. But you can see the voltage dropped to 106, okay? And that is the reason that the Chevy Bolt gives you that option between 8 and 12. Because basically, we're plugged into a 120 volt outlet. So we expect to be anywhere between about 110 and 124, I believe it is. That's where we're kind of supposed to be. So now that we put a bigger load on, it dropped quite a bit. I think it showed 112 volts before at 8 amps. So that was good. 106 is a little bit low. That means this is either a long wire run, which for this load should be bigger. Maybe they used too small of a wire, or there is back connections. There could be a back connection right here at the plug from plugging in, or there could be a bad connection on the back side of the plug. There could be a back connection wherever that wire is connected to. I wonder if they did string this to those other ones down there. There's another one over that way, another one over there. Maybe they're all hooked together and there's somebody else plugged in with a block heater on a gas or diesel car. And that may be why it dropped. Now we came up to 108 volts. That's a little bit better. Since I'm going only a couple hours here, I'm gonna leave it at that. It should not be an issue. It's super cold out here, so I don't expect anything to heat up out here and catch on fire. As it is so cold, that's not an issue. And by the way, electricity likes cold
batteries don't like cold, but electricity does. So the colder the better, the lower the resistance in the circuit. So it's not the cold that makes the voltage drop, okay? It's a resistance somewhere in the system. But anyway, the battery heater is, let's look at this, finally. Okay, battery pump speed, 4025. Now that pump is going, okay? So the battery heater is going at 2000 watts. Now the battery pump is going at 4000. So I wonder if that 50 is actually true, or if that is a miscalculation of the OBD here, of how it shows. That 50 may actually be not 50, that maybe nothing, I don't know, okay? If you happen to know, if you see the same thing, if you're using an app like this, let me know. Let me know down below in the comments what you find in regards to battery coolant system pump. So, but now it's definitely going at 4000 RPM. Battery heater is definitely going at 2000. And well, cabin heat already dropped to 2300. That is pretty unusual. I mean, it's set to 69. It is not 69 in here yet. So, well, whatever, that's fine. I'm gonna get out of here anyway and let it charge a little more, and we'll see how much more we can gain here. Then we run some errands around town here. We got a couple stops. We'll be going to a doctor's appointment for my father-in-law. Also, he will have to go to Fort Harrison. He's a veteran, so he has to go to the pharmacy there and pick up some stuff here in town. And we have another appointment to shoot a short video somewhere else. And then just for fun, we want to go to Copart, the car auction place here in town. My father-in-law wants to go see. There's a couple of trailers there he's interested, so he wants to go look at those. And somewhere along the way, or at the end of all that, we gotta get plugged in. And there is no DC fast charger here in Helena. There's a supercharger here for Tesla, which we can't use. So we have to plug into a level 2 charger. There's only about 4 here in town. And so we'll gotta go to one of them, plug in, and let this car fill up to 100% before we start driving home, so that we can take the direct way. If we are low, we may have to take the long route, which would add an hour to the drive, and probably add like 70 miles to the drive. We would have to go down south to Butte, use the DC fast charger in Butte, and then head west on I-90. That is another option just in case, but I would like to fully charge here in town and take the short route, the one without chargers. But it's shorter, it's faster, and if the weather kind of stays as it is, if the snowfall doesn't get too heavy, then we should be fine. So I'm going back in for breakfast, and I'll be back out later. We are almost done with our run around here in Helena. We got one more stop on Highway 12 going out of town. Currently we are sitting here at a Starbucks on a ChargePoint charger. It is free, but it's only level 2. So there's no DC fast chargers in Helena, except for the Tesla supercharger. So we're stuck here. And even worse is you can't even sit inside the Starbucks because of COVID. There is no seating in there. You can just grab and go. So that kind of sucks. So we've been sitting in the car waiting for this to charge up. It's showing now 131 miles, and it shows 75%, but in reality it's only 72.5%. So this can kind of mess you up if you use something like a better route planner. I pulled this up here, and oh, it's kind of hard to see. So here we got, with
75% starting. It will take over 2 hours at only 55 miles per hour, and we will get there to the ElectrifyAmerica charger in Missoula with 11%. So we can't even make it home with what we got here, according to this. So we're shooting for a actual 75% according to the tablet, and then we'll try to make it to Missoula. We got another little more than 30 miles to go from there, about another 35 or so, but we're trying to make it to the fast charger there. They have a CCS, and so we can, if we can make it there, then we can plug in for, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe or so, 10-15, and make it home from there, rather than sit here for, who knows, an additional hour or 2 or 3. I mean, we could sit here endless and it's really boring. So we're trying to get out of town, so we're gonna chance it again a little bit. On the Better Route Planner, I added the factors in that we have extra weight, so there's about 400 pounds extra weight. Added the factor in that the roads are most likely rainy, snowy conditions, so not dry roads. I didn't put any wind in, but I know for sure going over the pass here right out of Helena up there, I just looked it up, there's 14-mile-an-hour headwinds that we'll have, but that's just on top of the pass, so we'll just get up, back down, and hopefully that will not affect us much after that. We're trying to go a little faster, and then would have to slow down towards the end depending on how this all looks here. We shouldn't use too much power for heating. So if we look at this right now here, it jumps between 1600 and 699 for cabin heat. So hopefully we can keep that low and go a little faster, hopefully. And yeah, we'll just see. In the worst case, we may have to turn the heater off or go even slower. We'll see. But sitting here is really boring, so it really sucks that Helena does not have a CCS charger. So I did put a request in with ElectrifyAmerica and said I would love to have a CCS charger here in Helena, and I got the usual response that says that they forwarded it to their real estate crew, and that they will look into it, and they would love me to charge my Chevy Bolt here at a CCS station from them. So that said, if that really goes somewhere, it will be, what, at least another year minimum, if not 2 years before there will be a CCS here. So with the Tesla, on the other hand, you can come over here. There is a supercharger in Montana, in Helena, and so you can just come over here and supercharge real quick and choose up in 30 minutes. Well, so we'll be leaving here as soon as we reach 75%, and I'll get back to you soon.
right, we are at home. And no, I did not forget to film at the Electrify America charger in Missoula. We actually did not stop. So we did go about 60 miles per hour the entire trip. And we had the tendency showing that we can get more likely the max mileage all the way pretty much. And when we came to Missoula, we showed still like 41 miles range and we had about 35 miles to go. So we decided to just keep going 60 miles per hour to home. And here we are. We got 15 miles left. This turned amber at 15%. I checked that real quick on the app here on the tablet. And so yeah, we made it all the way. We did a total of 361.1 miles and used a total of 117 kilowatt hours. So we almost used the full battery capacity twice, only almost. What I'm noticing is we always use about around 10% for climate settings. So it seems like about 90% is for driving and 10% for climate settings on pretty much every trip we do. Never seen anything on battery conditioning here. That seems to be always 0. So seems like the 2020 Bolt does not do much battery conditioning. So we got home. The battery temperature is 51.8 degrees. It's relatively warm out here. It shows ambient temperature 39.2. The battery coolant is 48 degrees. And state of charge on the battery is 5.9%. And so currently these 5.9% would still give me about 15 miles here, depending on how fast we go. The average consumption here, we're looking at 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour. As always, I was a little late with resetting the distance, so it only shows 145.3 miles. It is probably 7 miles more or so, but as always, I'm a little too late. As we were driving out of Helena, I did the reset so we can get an accurate average down below just for the return drive. So yeah, this trip was pretty interesting. It was unusual, let's put it this way. So usually we would not travel like this. It's not it's too slow. It's I mean, you can do it, but we've been going the 55 miles an hour going there and stuff just to save the energy so we can make it there. We made it. We were able to charge in Wolf Creek at my friend's house, so we could make it to Helena real easy. Then in Helena, the problem is there is no CCS, no DC fast charger, so we had to pretty much rely on level 2 chargers, which there's only like 4 of them in town. And yeah, so it's relatively difficult. So basically what I learned from this trip is that if you don't have a DC fast charger, no CCS availability, traveling with the Bolt, it sucks. Okay, if we could have parked it at a hotel in Helena where they would have had a level 2 charger overnight, that would be a totally different story. But the only places with level 2 chargers in Helena, there is one at the Chevy dealer, which is only a 15 amp, so it's really not that fast either, and you can't park there overnight and leave your car there. And well, depending on where your hotel is, you would have to walk quite a ways. The other place is Suds Hut, the chicken place there, a restaurant. that has a Clipper Creek, and we plugged in while we were there eating dinner. But well, yeah, we're only spending what, an hour and a half there. If you go really slow, maybe you can make 2 hours out of that. Still not enough. The hotel we've been in had only regular outlets available, so they're regular 120 15 amp outlets. And when the guy at the hotel there told me that I need to watch out, some of them may not work and stuff, that concerned me a little bit. So I didn't feel comfortable even switching it up from 8 to 12 amps for all night. And as you have seen, when I switched it up to 12 amps in the morning, the voltage dropped below 110 volts right away. So that circuit there wasn't really good. So it probably would have done at 12 amps overnight, and we would have gained probably about a third more. But still, we ended up spending, what, about an hour sitting at the Starbucks or so. So if we would have had a third more miles overnight, maybe we would have spent only 45 minutes at Starbucks. Or we could have spent an hour and would have had more charge and could have driven faster. But it's not working so great. And we experienced the same thing or similar when we took the Tesla to Helena before. Before there was a supercharger in Helena. It was an issue. We had to actually drop it off at a hotel there where they had a Tesla destination charger. They allowed us to plug in even though we didn't stay at the hotel, and our friends came and picked us up in a gas car. And that kind of sucks, okay? So, but that's what we had to do at that point, and we had to leave the car there while our friends then drove us from Helena to Wolf Creek to their place, and then they had to drive us back. So if you don't have DC fast charging available for trips like that, it sucks. We drove this Bolt home from Seattle. We had DC fast chargers available, and we did a 500-mile trip from Seattle to Montana, and it was not an issue. It was really not an issue. The DC fast chargers were there. But if you don't have them and if you want to travel, it becomes painful. So another thing we learned is we can gain a lot of range by just going slower. So instead of going the speed limit, I mean, the interstate would be 80. The other highways are 70 or 75. By going 55 to 60, 60, we did 65 on the interstate going there. You can save a lot of energy, and so you basically gain range. You get more range out of that. And the Chevy Bolt does show you that on your dash right here. So if you look at your gasometer here, up here, what is gray now, this line, if this line starts turning green, you're more likely to get above the estimated range here. You're more likely towards the max. And if it goes down, there will be yellow, and it will indicate that you're more likely going down towards the minimum. And that line could be just very short, or it could grow full length. So to indicate what the tendency is, the longer the line, the more likely you, either if it's green, the more likely you're gonna get towards the max. If it's yellow down, then the more likely you're gonna be on the minimum miles that it shows. So, but if you're low on power, you certainly can go slower and save a lot of power. What else did we learn? Looking at a better route planner and mapping the trip out from Helena to Missoula to the ElectrifyAmerica charger. It showed 116 miles. And I put the weight, the additional weight that we carried. So I had a passenger with me, we had luggage, we had actually tools in the back, I had a small toolbox, a relatively large heavy floor jack, heavy extension cords, and a whole bunch of stuff. So I added about 400 pounds of extra weight. And I also told it that we have rain and snow road conditions, and that's pretty much what we had. There was some dry in there, but not very much. I didn't add any wind. We had some heavy wind on top of the pass, right, coming right out of Helena. I didn't even add that in there. So the better route planner said I would have to go 55 miles an hour or less in order to make it to Missoula, and then I would have 11% state of charge left. So I had a little buffer there, and that's why I started going faster, because I had that little buffer. I decided to go 60, and then I seen on my gasometer here the tendency went up green that I could even go further, and I decided to just keep going at 60 all the way, which obviously we were the slowest. It's not necessarily the safest if the speed limit is 80. Everybody will pass you, okay, including the big rigs. And there's not too much traffic here in Montana, so it's usually not too bad, but yeah, it's not necessarily the best thing to do. But we didn't really have an option. I mean, we could have went faster, but in order to get to the Electrify America charger in Missoula, we would have to drive off the interstate, and it's about 4 miles off the interstate. So driving down there, charging and coming back up would have taken at least 30 to 40 minutes. And going slower, I probably lost 30 to 40 minutes of the total time. So it took me the same amount of time. I just had to put less miles on. I didn't have to drive through town to get to the charger. We didn't have to sit in the car and wait. So it was actually almost nicer to just go slower. The Bolt, again, it did really good. It is a very efficient car, unless you're going fast. So if you're trying to make the speed limit here in Montana, going 80, it's not going to be very efficient. But if you're staying 65 and below, it is really efficient and you can get quite far. And the heating for us here, we had it at 68, 69. That was our setting. That feels all right for us. We're used to that. Depending on which climate you come from, you probably would set that higher, maybe even to 72, which means you would use quite a bit more. That said, in an emergency where you're short, I don't know, let's say 15, 20 miles to make it to a charger, you could turn that heat down quite a bit and gain a lot of range, and also bring your speed down and gain a lot of range and make it. So you can actually gain more range in an electric car than you could in a gas car by reducing your speed. And you can't reduce the heat in a gas car. The heat is just there because that's waste heat coming from the gas engine. So turning the heat off in a gas car wouldn't gain anything, but here you can actually gain some extra by turning the heat off, and some extra by going slower. Okay. All right, the car just changed from showing a mileage to just showing low, and gave me the warning propulsion power is reduced. We're just sitting here, but as you can see there, it's using 1 kilowatt. We're got some cabin heat going here that shows about 300 watts. I got the fan down, but oh, there it goes, jumps up to 1500 watts. And this jumps between 1 and 2 kilowatts. So we're using a little power just sitting here. That's why this dropped there. But it just showed we had over 10 miles left, so it wouldn't have been a problem. We could have driven further. And having the OBD reader with me where I can see the actual state of charge did help. So like when we charged in Helena at the Starbucks, the dash showed 75%, but the actual state of charge was just 70 point something, okay? But it jumped up 5 already. And that's an issue with the Bolt. It shouldn't do that. I mean, plus minus 5% is a huge difference. We have 5.5% left right now. So if I'm not aware that I'm at the bottom end of these 5% and don't have those 5%, I wouldn't make it home. So I don't like that on the Bolt at all. This should show exact state of charge, not 5% bars. You can use the Chevy app, so that's the other thing. The Chevy app does require cell phone reception. We don't have cell phone reception. Out of this trip, we did, what, 360 miles. We probably only had cell phone reception 25% of the time, and the other times we didn't, okay? So you couldn't use the app. There's a Bluetooth function in the app, I was told, that you could use. A lot of people seem to have issues with that one, so that if you're in the car or next to the car, you could read out the state of charge in an actual percentage. I was told. I haven't tried that out yet. And I seen when I did a little research on it, a lot of people complain about that it's actually not functioning very good. So Chevy needs to fix that. This is a bad thing. These 5% increments here, that is not the way to go. So, but we made it. Everything basically went well. It was kind of boring, the waiting for charging. That's the big thing. Need the CCS chargers. That reminds me, ElectrifyAmerica, if you use Twitter or if you use Facebook, you find ElectrifyAmerica on there, or you can go to their website, okay? And you can give them suggestions on where to put chargers. So a couple weeks ago, ElectrifyAmerica had a tweet and they kind of asked for suggestions. Kinda. It wasn't a direct, straightforward thing, but they kind of did. And so I gave them a suggestion for this trip, because I knew I would be going on this trip here sooner or later. And I gave him the suggestion and said, I would like to visit my friends in Helena, but I can't go there with the Chevy Bolt because there is no DC fast charger. We would need a ElectrifyAmerica DC fast charger in Helena. And I got a relatively good response, I thought. I mean, I got a response. That's a good thing to begin with. And the response was something like that they would forward this request to their realtor team, and that they would look into it, and that ElectrifyAmerica would certainly like to see me charge my Chevy Bolt in Helena at a CCS charger. So I thought that's pretty cool. And so a couple days later, I gave him another suggestion. I put in that I would like to go to Yellowstone National Park, but there is no DC fast charger in West Yellowstone. So I put that in. I got basically the same response I got the first time. Again, they said they would forward that to their real estate team and they would look into it, and they certainly would like me to go to the national park and be able to charge in West Yellowstone at an ElectrifyAmerica. So go on their website. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, follow them and give them those suggestions, okay? Help spread the word. Tell them we want those chargers. Tell them where you need the charger. I really can't go. Well, we did it now, making to Helena, but it was kind of painful. We could possibly do Yellowstone, but it will be painful, right? So I can use the Tesla, and it's super easy. It's not painful because there are Tesla superchargers there. And so please go on there and give ElectrifyAmerica the suggestions where you would like to see their DC fast chargers. We want to push them as much as we can. I mean, this is VW that has to spend money because of their Dieselgate thing, right? So there's money there. It needs to be spent, and you want them to spend it where you need chargers. So please go on there and give them suggestions. let's overwhelm them with suggestions, okay? If we overwhelm them with thousands of suggestions, if they do half of them, that is good. If we only give them 100 suggestions and they do half of them, then we don't get very many DC fast chargers. So let's overwhelm them. Let's show them that there's a desperate need for these DC fast chargers so all of us can travel, not just people that own a Tesla. All right. Whoa, look at that there. We're just sitting here and it started blinking. Let's see where we at. We're still at 5.5%, so it's not so bad, but it started blinking there on the dash. It's about to run out of power, it says. Yeah, anyway, I hope you liked the video. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. It's totally free to subscribe, okay? And you don't get any spam mail or anything. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's a little window that will pop up. Click all so you get notified whenever we put a new video out. I'm trying to keep more or at least one electric car video coming every week. Usually on Saturdays. That's what I'm trying to do. And then on Sundays, I bring maybe a more family type video, like traveling. We still have lots of video footage from traveling to Switzerland. I also have stuff from the ranch. I got stuff about, I still got another video coming about our boiler here. That's how we heat our house. We got Starlink here a couple weeks ago and we had it out there. We have a video coming about it, unboxing and using it for the 2 weeks, and showing you what the experiences are that we had with the system. So we got lots of stuff coming, lots of different stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to keep like an EV type video for Saturdays, and then a different type video for Sundays. And I usually post them at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So depending on where you're at, I don't know what time that is for you. If you're in Europe, that will be more likely later in the afternoon, early evening. But that should be a relatively convenient time, I hope, for everybody. And so, but we really would love to have your support, and supporting us is totally free. All you need to do is give us a thumbs up, share our videos with your friends and family, leave a comment down below. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. If you found something that I said wrong, that is possible. I don't know everything. And that's the cool thing, being kind of like a YouTube community here. We can go forward and back and teach each other and discuss things. So leave a comment down below. Whatever, you know, something like that. You can just say it was a great video. That is one of the greatest things if you get that comment, okay? Definitely subscribe. Definitely hit the notification bell and click all so you get a notification for every video. You won't get any spam mail or anything, okay? It's all free. You don't have to pay anything. So yeah, comment, like, share, subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.